Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to reach out to people on LinkedIn at scale with personalized messaging that isn't as boring as a simple message blast. I'm sure you've all gotten the messages on LinkedIn from people that are obviously just copying and pasting the exact same thing over and over again, and it's not nearly as effective as just sending an actually good message. However, those actually good messages take a pretty long time. So instead of doing that, I found a way in which you can personalize your messages and send them at high volume at the same time. So I'm going to go walk you through that. Without further ado, let's get into how to do it. All right, so I'm in a tool called Clay. If you don't know what Clay is, it's essentially a tool that allows you to automate your outreach, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's email, no matter what messaging medium you're actually using. It allows you to find people, enrich data to find more information about them, and ultimately use that data to personalize messaging to those prospects. You can see in this case, I have imported pretty much every person on LinkedIn who is currently listed as working for Clay. It's very easy to do this. All I had to do was click new table, find companies from LinkedIn. From there, all I had to do was type in clay.com and run the preview. And I was able to find all the people who work for Clay and automatically import them into a table. From there, what I can do is I can actually automatically get all this information on the person. So their company domain, their LinkedIn profile, all of this stuff is completely free and is imported automatically. I didn't have to do anything to find this data. To keep things simple, what I decided to do was just show you kind of the functionality of Clay and then how you connect it to Log Growth Machine, which is actually the tool you're going to be using to reach out to people on LinkedIn. What I want to do is write an opening line based on their location that I can send to them in a LinkedIn message. So in this case, what I said was just using the input, which is a location, create a sequence about a unique landmark or something fun to do near or at the location. Here's the input. Whenever possible, normalize the location name so it looks like how people that live there would call it. Create a sentence that's under 20 words talking about the location, something unique to do there, etc., etc. I gave them some examples right here, and you can see this AI integration automatically pops out for each one of these people the exact thing I'm looking for. So for Eva here, we said, notice you're based in Boston. You should try the famous clam chowder at Union Oyster House. Notice you're based in Concord. Have you ever had the chance to visit the Sun Valley Shopping Center? It goes on and on. So we now have a personalized first line for every single one of the people that we're reaching out to. You can do this with pretty much any personalization you want. I'm sure you can imagine how many data points you can find within Clay. I mean, if you go to the data over here, every single one of these is a data point that you can find on the people. This isn't even an exhaustive list. You can find data points on pretty much anything that's publicly available about a person or a company. From there, you can actually use another integration to find their email. So I decided to use that integration, and you can see at a perfect accuracy, it was able to find all of the emails for people who work at Clay. And from there, I decided to use one last integration, which is just adding them to this sequence in Log Growth Machine. So you might be asking yourself, what is Log Growth Machine? How do I send out these on LinkedIn? Well, Log Growth Machine is an automation platform that pretty much allows you to send out LinkedIn messages at scale. And if somebody doesn't want to connect with you on LinkedIn, then you can send out emails to them at scale. So it's a really cool multi-tenanted platform in which you can send out tons of different messages. So you can see I built out a little bit of a test campaign right here, and I wanted to walk you through it. So once it starts, it visits the person profile and it makes a connection request with them. This is important because you can't message most LinkedIn profiles unless you're connected with them. So once we send that connection request, there are two options. The first one is that they don't accept the invite. If they haven't done it within 4 days, then it runs this sequence. If they did accept the request within that 4 days, we run this sequence. So if they didn't accept the request, we send them a sequence of emails. We visit their profile one time just to notify them that we visited it. And then we send one last email after that. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with how the email sequencing works. It sends one initial contact email and then 2 follow-ups. However, if they do accept our request, we wait 30 minutes so we don't seem like we're automatically sending them a message upon acceptance. And then we send them 2 LinkedIn messages. And if they do have an email, we'll send them an email as a third point of touch. And if we don't, we will send them this. So you can see here that this automation tool allows you to send out a ton of different messages and have a ton of different contact points with a potential prospect other than just email. So it's a really cool automation tool that allows you to pretty much send out as many of these LinkedIn messages as you want, as long as LinkedIn is not throttling you. And it's just significantly better than doing it in a manual way. So back to Clay. Once we create this integration, all we have to do is connect our Growth Machine API key, which is quite simple to do. And from there, we have to create an audience. So you can see here, I've created an audience within Log Growth Machine. If you go to home, all you have to do is create an audience. So in this case, all I did was go to a lead section, create an audience, and imported one example person into it. From there, there are a bunch of fields that you have to map out, but we're doing that with columns. So for example, in the first name column, they're automatically prompting you to have. All you got to do is throw in this column with their first name. You do this with every single one of the attributes, and you can see that we threw in even our AI personalization in the custom attributes section. Once you do that, all you have to do is run the integration, and it will create these leads for you within Log Growth Machine, thus automating your entire outbound for you. I only have 12 people in here, but you can imagine that you can kind of do this for thousands and thousands of people if you wanted to reach out to on LinkedIn. You can ideally just run this flow for all of them and then reach out to them. Alrighty, and that is it. If you want something like that set up for your business and you don't feel like dealing with the technical intricacies of both of these tools, feel free to reach out to me. I do this for companies that want to automate their outbound without having any compromise in the message qualities. So hopefully this is valuable to you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. If you want to try Clay, feel free to hit the link in my bio, and you are able to get 3,000 free credits if you pay for a paid plan. And I hope this video was of some value to you. Happy prospecting.